I'm about to break down one of the most compelling seduction scenes from TV and film that I've seen in a long time. It's from a show called Girls, which is mostly made by women, for women, and consuming media that is by women for women in terms of like romance novels, for example, can really give you some powerful insights as to what women want, how women's psychology really works. And a lot of the stuff is actually very taboo. It has a lot of darkness in it. It's not, flowers and rainbows. You get some stuff like 50 Shades of Grey that goes into women's dark side of what they want sexually, the kind of stuff that goes against the societal narrative. And this clip is a powerful example of a man creating a lot of sexual tension in a short amount of time, and it's based on psychological principles that I'd say are pretty accurate. And if you look at the comments section in the original video, it's mostly women talking about how hot this scene was. It's women saying how, like, oh my God, a woman must have written this because a man would never know to say something like this or to do something like this. So I want to break this down really quick and show you why it's so powerful.
Why are we running?
Come on, don't be like that. The Highline's kind of bullshit, but it'll work.
Oh, the Highline's cute.
No, it's not.
Slow down.
All right, so a couple things are already happening. He's disagreeing with her, no it's not, and he's just saying what's on his mind as opposed to being agreeable or a people pleaser, which is what a lot of guys do. That itself already creates tension, right? It creates tension, not necessarily positive tension, but tension, and that can spark sexual desire. That can be a part of what leads to this desire to, And he's also leading, right? He's way ahead of her. She's following him. He's taking the lead. And generally in the dance of seduction, someone has to take the lead. It's fine if it's the woman, but if you rely on that and don't take the lead on your own, a lot of times nothing's going to happen because a lot of women prefer to play the receptive role or the one who's being led on that dance, and that's very important.
What? No.
Have you ever come here with like a book and some friends? It's a lame suggestion. It closes at 10.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, smoking is really bad for you.
What, cigarettes?
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit, I had no idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, here he's basically taunting her for being too try-hard, right? For saying something to like try to poke at him, but it was very obvious what she's doing. It wasn't, it wasn't very clever, and he's calling her out on that, right? He's calling her out on her shit. That again is very attractive. Being someone who says what they really think, who acts according to their own beliefs and values, as opposed to, oh, this girl's hot, I'm going to try to please her with whatever she does. I'm going to try to be submissive to her to prove that I'm worthy of her, to prove that I'm a nice guy. He's doing the exact opposite of what a lot of societal norms teach us.
Thank you so much. So do you live with your boyfriend?
No, I live with my best friend.
She cute? Is she?
No. I mean, yes, she's cute, but I would never let her anywhere near someone like you.
Oh, burn.
Yeah, well, you usually hook up with, like, French girls and models, right?
All the time. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I feel like I have to say.
Another subtle thing that's good that he's doing here is just letting the silence hang. Right? A lot of guys, when there's a silence with the girl they're talking to, they're like, oh no, she's going to lose interest. I have to prove myself, right? I have to say something. And he's just chill. He's relaxed. He's okay with the tension building from the silence. And that's a very big difference between guys who women find attractive and guys who turn women off, is the ability to just let the silence hang, to be okay with a moment of quiet, and to let the girl feel the desire to start to pursue you, to start filling in the conversational gaps. Especially, look, at the very beginning of a conversation, you may have to do a little more work because she doesn't know if she wants you there or not yet. But once she's already basically invested in the interaction as they are in this situation, it's okay to let the silence hang, to leave room for the girl to invest in you as opposed to always being the one who's chasing her conversationally.
Something.
What do you have to say?
I feel like I should tell you that I'm not gonna kiss you.
Why would you think that I would want to kiss you?
I don't know. going out on a limb. Don't make me feel stupid.
When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. That's a saying. People say that.
It's been a long time since I heard that. Well,
Okay, she's accusing him of, wanting to kiss her, and he's saying, why would you think that? What evidence do you have of that? And it's basically implying that you might not be interested, right? And that's generally one of the best ways to deal with that kind of situation, because she was being presumptuous. Even though she felt the vibe, he didn't do anything to make a move. And so to call her out on being presumptuous makes you seem very non-needy, and like maybe you're not interested, right? And that is, again, that creates tension, because there's that, well, I feel this heat in the interaction, the way we're looking at each other, there's this sense of something sexual under the table, but verbally, what he's doing is making it seem like he's not interested. And it's like, does he like me? Or am I just the one who likes him and he's not reciprocating it? And that mystery creates a building tension.
well, touche. I just felt like I had to say it. Booth Jonathon.
Okay.
And it's all that buildup that's been happening throughout the interaction and in earlier scenes, in which he's making it seem like he might not be interested, that leads this next part to be so powerful.
Okay.
I see. But I want you to know, the first time I fuck you, I might scare you a little. Because I'm a man. And I know how to do things. See you later.
Okay, so what did he do there? He was very dominant. He went from being coy and seeming uninterested to the first time I fuck you, as if it's going to happen, assuming that that's that's already inevitably going to happen in the way he's phrasing it. And it's extreme confidence. This is a good example of why confidence is attractive. It's just that certainty, that certain energy is very attractive, that there's no hem-hawing, there's no maybe, there's no I don't know if she likes me. It's just complete certainty. And that certainty is attractive. The underlying principle that's at work here is dominance and submission, right? He's being very dominant. That creates a polarity with submission. One person has to be dominant, one person is submissive. And when there is that polarity, there is a very powerful amount of sexual energy. And he even says it might scare you a little, which obviously you don't want to scare women in a bad way, right? There's a way that could be bad. But what he's implying is clearly different than like actual fear, in that it's not consensual. It's fear that there's an intensity and a level of aggressiveness in the way he is that she might not be able to handle, right? That's kind of what he's implying, that it might be overwhelming for her, but in a way that's attractive. And it's a very subtle difference. Obviously, you want to be careful with understanding the difference between those two things, but it's very deep in female psychology that one of the biggest fantasies women have is dominance and submission. I mean, what was the most popular book of the 2010s, of 2010 to 2019? 50 Shades of Grey. Of all books sold, that was the #1 best-selling book, and it's all about BDSM, dominance and submission to an extreme degree. And if you look at what are women's biggest sexual fantasies other than that, one of them is vampires. It's kind of weird, right? Well, vampires are very powerful. They are frightening. They're and they have greater physical strength than humans. They're dangerous, right? Because they have this desire to drain your blood. And it's that power, right? This is an example of masculine power, right? It's raw masculine power. The example of this physical power being displayed through the way he's acting. And he's not tall. He's not a big guy. It's not that. It's the way he's carrying himself. It's the way he's expressing himself is showing just what raw masculine power looks like. And if you can channel that same energy, women will find that very seductive. Now, you don't have to say the same exact things he's saying, but it's the boldness, it's the dominance, it's the lack of hesitation that shows this raw masculine power that is very sexually exciting to women. It's also important that he walks away here, because that leaves space for her to chase him, for her to feel like she needs to pursue him. He's not overly desperate for her. He's like, he could take it or leave it, right? And so there's room for her to pursue him, which is very important. However, you do have to be careful with this because you could use that as an excuse. Basically, you're with a girl, she's clearly into you, you're into her, you want something to happen, but you say, well, he walked away, so I'm going to walk away too. It's the moment that it's happening that makes it so powerful. It's that it's at a moment of very high sexual tension. And it's also, he knows that he's going to see her again. They're in the same social circle. If you were to do this in a situation where you don't know you're going to see the girl again, it could backfire. So being willing to walk away is very powerful, but there's smaller ways to do it. For example, if you're making out with a girl, just stopping making out for a while and going on to do something else, right? Whenever you escalate, also taking a step back first, and that leaves her room to feel like she's the one who needs to pursue you. So stepping back doesn't have to be this drastic, and it can be risky to do that if you do it at the wrong time. So yes, it's powerful, but be careful not to misinterpret the lesson there, because you could say, well, now every date I'm going to walk away, and then she's not necessarily. That may not go the way that you want it to go. However, in this situation, it was a very seductive thing to do. Okay, so I cut off the scene here because it's not exactly PG what happens next. She gives herself some self-induced enjoyment in the bathroom after having this interaction with that guy, showing that she just needed to release all the tension that was built, basically. Overall, if you've ever wondered what the concept of sexual intent, what it looks like, what it really means, because people say like, well, sexual intent means saying, hey, I thought you were cute and I had to meet you. That is a way to show intent, but it's not just about that, right? It's about the energy, the certainty, the just like you're looking at her like, I want you, right? He's looking at her like, I want you. He's assuming that she's attracted, and he has no hesitance whatsoever. Of course, presumably, if she was like, whoa, go away, then he would respect that. But it's the fact that he has this certainty and he's willing to put himself out there with no hesitation. That's where the sexual intent comes in. So this is a great example of what sexual intent looks like when it's done right. I would say this scene, yeah, if a guy did that, it probably would have a similar effect as it did in the show. I mean, depends on the context of the interaction up to that point, but this is a pretty accurate example of what seduction can look like. And I've had similar experiences in my own life. I've had very similar experiences, and it wasn't necessarily even on purpose, but something just came over me where I felt this certainty and acted similar to the guy in that scene. And generally it did work out, let's just say, right? It did work out. So I hope you found this analysis useful. If you want me to do more videos like this where I break down scenes or interviews where there's a good example of seduction or there's an example of seduction gone wrong, let me know in the comments and I'll make more videos like this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be posting more content like this almost every single day. And if you want to learn more about how to project sexual intent, like you saw in this scene, then check out my book, The Method. It has an entire chapter that's all about exactly how you can create sexual tension, how you can create that spark through sexual intent like you saw in that scene.